All right, today we're going to take a look at the Fresh Start Wizard in Map software, which is a great process to go through if you just received a new profiler from ECD and want to get it programmed and set up to profile with. And so to begin here, go ahead and launch your map software, connect your mole to the PC, and we'll start by selecting the Wizards drop-down menu at the top. And in this video, we're going to go for the Fresh Start Wizard, and I'm going to use our demo instrument as an example, and so that we can walk through this together. And so we'll say that we have a SuperMole Gold 2 profiler that we just received and want to get it set up to profile with. And the first thing it's going to ask you here is to name your instrument. If you want to put in a specific name, maybe just your company name, you could do that. And we're going to set the logging interval as well. So the recording interval is the majority of the time you're going to want a 1 second logging rate for the profile, unless you're using one of our palette products like a wave writer or an oven writer, in which case you would want a 1/10 of a second logging rate. And so it allows you to select which channels that you like on. Here at the bottom, I'm going to leave all 6 channels on, say that we're utilizing all 6 channels, and our thermocouples are set up for type K. You'd only really change this if you had one of our mini mole products, which measures relative humidity as well. And so now that we've named our instrument and selected the logging rate, made sure we got all our channels turned on here, we'll go ahead and click Next. And this is where we can enter our assembly information. And it's not 100% necessary. I mean, it's not imperative that you do this, but it can help with it just a visual aid as to what you're measuring, what assembly, what product you're profiling here. And so we have a space for the image of the assembly. If you'd like to put an image in there, just as an example, we'll grab our trusty motherboard 79 here and add that into the image. And we can click and drag. I'll enlarge this so we can see it better. But we can click and drag our thermocouple locations, and you can see that dynamically changing the XY coordinates on the left, just so that if somebody else were to view our assembly information, they could see where the thermocouples are placed on the board or where they should be placed. And so we'll just add those in there with the locations, and since it's already dynamically updated the coordinates, we can just click OK, and it will save that information. And we can also name our part number or our assembly here. We'll just call that motherboard 79 as well. And we'll go ahead and click Next. Now it's going to ask you for your oven information, your machine info, and you can either select one from the list, or if you've already created one under the machine oven drop-down menu, that would be at the top. That would be located at the top of the list here for a custom created oven that you've measured the zones on. I'm just going to say we'll go with our OmniFlow 7 oven here with 7 heating zones and 2 cooling. And you can make any modifications here if you need, and we'll go ahead and click Next. And we can, at this point, we select our solder paste, whatever type of process paste that we're using with the profiler or going to be using in our reflow. And there's a wide range of process pastes here. Most likely yours is on the list, but if it's not, you can click New to create a new solder paste specification. And so I'm just going to grab an Amtech paste here, and we'll use that and click Next. And so this is our final kind of pre-flight checkout for the SuperMole Gold 2 profiler, and or any other profiler that you are using the Fresh Start Wizard on. Anything from the original SMG to the Megamole works as well. But this is just going to list our setup here. You can see we've got the 1-second log interval programmed in there. That's really the main thing that we're wanting to establish with this Fresh Start Wizard. And we get the green go light at the end of our setup here. And so one quick side note is if you don't have thermocouples plugged into the profiler, these would be listed in red as open, and you'll never get the go light if you have open thermocouples. And so that if it says stop here, don't be thrown off. It doesn't necessarily mean that something is amiss. It's basically letting you know that you have open thermocouples on your instrument status. And so if everything else looks good to you, we can go ahead and click next. That's going to send the programming through to the profiler. And if you do want to follow this Fresh Start Wizard all the way through to the end, it notes here to go ahead and disconnect the instrument and hook up your assembly to it and go run a profile. And once you've done that, it will walk you through downloading your profile as well. And so once you come back and hook it up to the machine again, to your PC, it'll give you the list of profiles that you've recorded, and you can select your most recent one that you just did and hit finish, and that will load it into the software for you where you can save it. And let's say we have a naming convention here, and we want to name our file by the date. And so it just appears as one long number with the date and time, and give us a nice naming convention to go by. And we'll go ahead and save that. And so now it's saved into map software. I do not want to enter prediction mode for this tutorial, but that will display your profile once you've completed the Fresh Start Wizard. And so it's a really handy tool to walk you through. Like I said, if you got a new profiler, or if you're just receiving a profiler that you haven't used before from your company and you want to get it set up to make an oven run with for the first time. And so that's the Fresh Start Wizard in map software.